best case scenario right there with the shot clock violation, because if they would have got the ball, Chess was already on the right side. Like approaching that pass, that probably would have been a free one for Pacers Gaming.
Here we go. Big bucket could ice it. 8-point lead, under a minute to go here. Chess gets down the lane and the easy two. Not a lot of competition there for the bucket. 61-51 now. Nasty Glass and Kingsguard got to pick up the pace. We agree. Too slow. It's Range gets the easy steal, and that might just do it. Chess on the break and gets the slam, and that will do it here. 12-point lead now. Pacers Gaming. A big fourth quarter. They'll end up taking this one. Same old for Kingsguard. Dirk, they just can't get out of their own way. That'll be a quick foul.
It's the one thing that I brought up, right? They were tied in turnovers. I want to say it was at the end of the first half, and there were 4 pieces.
Yes.
So just keep an eye on that number, because that could really sway how things are going. It's now up to 11 turnovers for Kingsguard Gaming, and just 3 added on, putting Pacers Gaming at 7 turnovers in the ball game. But they just got to go back. Whatever they did in the second quarter, when they're going back and watching film, do exactly that. Because I don't know what happened. Obviously, I saw in quarter number 1, they got off to that slow start, slowly able to pick it up. Quarter 3, come on flat-footed the same way that they did in that first quarter. And this one has just been a nightmare. I mean, with the caliber of scores that you have in your backcourt, and not even just the backcourt, I'll even go throw Logic Stark out there into the mix as well. To only put up 9 points in the fourth quarter is stunning.
Yeah, tough exit here for Kingsguard Gaming. Pacers Gaming, they're going to take this one by 13 now as Range. He hits another 3, and it's official. Pacers Gaming, they've doubled up Kingsguard in the fourth quarter. 18-9 fourth for the win. We get a 2 on the other side, make it 18-11, but won't be enough. Timeout Pacers Gaming. They want to see if they can get one more bucket here. Point differential matters, Dirk.
Welcome back, everyone, to the clubhouse where me, you, and the rest of the crew can catch every single NetsGC game here on NetsGC Live. My name is Christian. With me, not always, but when he is here, it's always a good time. Our resident good luck charm here in Brooklyn. JJ, what's up, man?
I'm doing good, Chris. Always happy to be back with the chat with you. Just all around great vibes here. Looking to make it an undefeated week.
It's I was gonna say it's been a while since we could even say something like that, but now that I think about it, I'm not sure we've ever gone undefeated in group play or even in a week of bracket. Well, no, you would have to go undefeated in week one of bracket play to advance, but definitely the best stretch we've seen from the guys, certainly in 5v5. What's up, everyone in the chat? Again, we've got the usual suspects, the core that makes up the crew off the sticks. Again, just so very grateful that each and every one of you guys join us for all the games. JJ, again, thank you for tuning in with us. Your record, I don't have it tracked down in my spreadsheets, but I do know it's pretty good. I do know it's elite.
It's one loss. It's one loss.
Yeah, so that's a high winning percentage. The very bright white screen you guys see in front of you is the command center. I wanted to start a little bit earlier here. Usually I wait for the tip-off, and there you go. But it looks like the guys are about to finally take the court. We're going to be in virtual Atlanta tonight. I believe we've kind of sorted out some of the audio issues. You're going to be hearing some of the background noise sound effects from the 2K game. And then once we go to the command center, we will hop back and forth. Let me know if either myself or JJ are, too loud or louder than we need to be, and then vice versa, these sound effects, because these guys are going to be, Greens especially, going to be spamming those menus. So let us know. We want to make this as enjoyable as possible. First possession for Hawks Talon. They're able to drill down that three.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of an aggressive start there on defense. It looked like Glenn Ratty went for the steal there and just didn't get the rotation in time.
Glenn puts up a shot early. JJ, I'm definitely going to ask you about how unique of a setup it was over at the NetsGC gaming studio last night, and but I don't want you to rush through your answer because it looked like a really fun night to be there in person. But I mean, talk a little bit about what you saw from Glenn last night, right? Like just the added usage, the added responsibilities, and then for him to come through, that was great.
He stepped up, and just you could really tell that Steez is kind of the vocal leader of this team, because after every single bucket, words I can't really repeat on stream, but Steez was hyping his guy up, and he was balling. They were kind of pressuring Greens to get rid of the ball and everything, and Glenn stepped up to the call, and he was the shooting. That's the shooting guard that NetsGC drafted. He was incredible last night. He was seeking his shot. He was calling just some offensive possessions for himself, and he was playing with the confidence that we haven't seen him play with yet this year, that it looks like he's trying to continue with tonight.
There you go, Glenn staying aggressive. 6'2", they force the rotation, get the bigger, slower center out of that corner. Hotshot was forced to make a decision in that pick and roll. But Atlanta off to a good start here. They were up 6-0 up until that point. C's hunting for his three. Hotshot. Oh, bounce goes our way, and Brooklyn is off to the races. No foul? Nope.
So yeah, you want to talk about a great game to be in person last night, Chris. That was the tension was palpable. There's a little bit of an audience there to watch the crew, and boy did they feed off of that, and that energy was just insane. I can't even imagine what it was like in the chat and here, but I can tell you live from studio, it was something different.
We were having a blast. It was definitely stressful moments. Definitely tense, especially down the stretch, but No, we were having a great time, and we were just saying in the chat and to Kurt in the post game, if there was ever a time, like if you aren't not totally familiar with the space, if that was your first game and your introduction to the 2K League, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better experience. 9-5 ATL. Doing pretty well here to start the game. That's a good pass. That second pass to Mr. Automatic from that right corner. Shots, makes no mistake about it. I love that pass, though, from Streets. That second pass is key.
It's been there consistently, and they've done such a good job of reading it. Now we got Glenn with the steal. But it's been there so consistently, and Shots is just kind of glued to that corner. And there was, I forget when it was last night, but there was a big time shot that Shots made, and because he just stuck in the corner, and Shots is like, "Did you think I was ever gonna move?" he knows his role, he knows where to be, and that's what makes him a seasoned veteran, and one of the best players in the 2K League.
9-8 Greens finds daylight off the PNR. Steez back to his ways here, just snaring offensive rebounds out of the sky to give Brooklyn second chance opportunities. And I mean, you were there, right? Like, what was the energy like when he was grabbing those boards? I know early on it was like, oh well, yeah, that's what a center does. But as we progressed deeper and deeper into that game, it was like, man, this is a little bit out of the ordinary.
He was as intense as I've ever seen him. Words I can't use on stream again, but he was talking the trash. He was talking the talk and walking the walk. And yeah, he totally dominated that game in overtime. I felt like he really took over and got the extra possessions that NetsGC does not win if they don't get those extra possessions. So just an all-time performance. And, he's just electric. You could tell the guys feed off of his energy.
And Mama Steez is actually in the chat. She was with us last night. So I'm sure she'll be pumped to hear that. She's no stranger to this. Alex has been doing this for quite some time now. But he has been a blessing in Brooklyn, and Kurt has said that many times. For us too, we tweeted that graphic out, right? 49th overall pick. That was in a draft, JJ, that had 51 total players selected on draft night. So when you're talking about scraping the bottom of the barrel, for us to walk away with someone like Steez and what he provides both on the sticks and then off the sticks content-wise in the community, I mean, you talk about bang for your buck and getting value. There it is.
Yeah, and his numbers won't always show up in the box score, but it feels like he leaves his fingerprints on every single game, no matter what. So yeah, just to see him have a game like that against his former team, it was something special. It was really cool to see.
Good defense.
Great defense.
27.
Really locked it in after those first couple possessions.
Yeah, I think it was like 6-0 run to start the game, and NetsGC now on a 12-3 run to counter. There it is. Ooh. I know it bothers Connor when it drags him in like that. But he'll green it anyways. He might have actually. I don't know if it dragged him in that example. I think he was expecting Glenn to shoot.
I was gonna say, I think he did that on his own. It looked like he made a concerted effort to kind of get inside there.
Yeah, it looked like he was gonna crash the boards. He thought Glenn might have let that one fly. Feeling the love in the chat again. Appreciate the support that you guys show night in, night out. My dream is one day we're all able to kind of watch a NetsGC game in person, and we do NetsGC live, like for real live. JJ, like that would be amazing. Yeah. And just as a completely unintentional segue, you guys saw Knicks Gaming finally announced it. NetsGC will be playing Knicks Gaming live in person. We'll go into that a little bit more detail after these final 40 seconds, but lots of exciting things to come. Greens finds A wide open shot, probably one of the most open shots he'll get a chance to take tonight. A little bit of shocking defensive coverage there from ATL.
Yeah, I mean, if they'll give that to him, I think he's going to take it. How did that pass get through?
Yeah, we saw some of those last night. Just a split second late, but also maybe the game not rewarding the player in the right way there. 14 seconds. Greens holding for the final shot. Might need a reset here. Street's going to give it back to Greens. It's a good foul to give.
Mm-hmm.
I think Greens was maybe just trying to fish for that foul to give.
Yep.
Here we go. 4 seconds. We go to shots. Jeez.
Automatic. Doesn't matter. That's his office. Oh, no.
That's good of it. Yep.
Oh.
Nope. Thankfully, it doesn't go down. 22-16. I think that was one of the most explosive first quarters we've seen from the guys all year in 5v5. Love to see it, JJ. The team is looking really good. They're taking on an Atlanta, a group rival, ATL 0-2. This is a team that is desperate, right? You want to finish top 4 in the group to advance to bracket round. Like us, Atlanta also failed to reach bracket play in the tip-off. So in order to save their season, they have no choice but to finish in the top 4. Going 0-2 is not the way you want to start if you're a fan of Hawks Talon GC, but how dangerous is it for NetsGC to play a team that feels cornered now at this point and has their backs up against the wall?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get their best effort no matter what. And, you kind of in the opposite boat to where you've gone 2-0 this week. So, you really don't have that desperation because, desperation brings out the best in you. And so you're going to get their best punch. But there's also a reason they're 0-2. So if you play your game and you play to the best of your abilities, they cannot hang with you. And we kind of saw that in the first quarter. Once they locked in, once they got the communication down on defense, there was no hanging with them.
I'm hoping the main broadcast puts our game on for the second half, but it looks like they've dived right back into the second quarter between Gen G and Cavs Legion. As you see the box score there, we're winning the turnover battle. We're winning the 3-point battle. We've got those extra possessions. Greens off to a much quicker start tonight with 8 points. I think he had 8 points headed into overtime last night. So the rookie already able to consistently display that bounce back ability. Right on cue, Greens for 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Greens really took a vocal role last night. I think it was at the end of regulation, they had a shot to win the game, and he kind of drew up a play verbally. He probably could have used a whiteboard, but he stood up out of his chair during the timeout and called the play. And now they didn't end up scoring out of it, and I don't think they exactly ran the play that he planned to. But he took that leadership role. He said, "This is the play that we're running, and this is what we're going to do." So to see him kind of take that leadership role at, still being 19 years old,
Mm-hmm.
it was, you can see that development every single day. He's getting better every day.
Greens reset here, attacks the rim, slams it for 2 more for NetsGC. JJ, I'm loving the fact that you're almost like an on-court reporter for us tonight. You're able to give us a little bit of that insight we normally don't get here on NetsGC Live, and that's what it's all about. The mom crew is in town. Mama Greens, Mama Streets, Mama Steez, everyone is in the chat. Lady OG, I think you're in studio. Correct me if I'm wrong. But let me know. I believe this is your first game with the guys, getting to see the team in person. So very exciting stuff.
Still in studio and still hanging out with us. That's a true fan right there. That's true dedication.
A true double dip. 26-24. ATL gets 3 back on that fast break. Let's see what the guys do in response, and that's good defense from Hawks Talon. They read the slip, and we might call timeout here to slow things down. Nope. Kurt will get the guys to play it out. sort through their issues. They have that. They're playing. ATL's fighting.
Yeah.
It's good defense. Open. Lady OG says she's trying to be quiet. It's a good foul by ATL to stop the transition. Go ahead.
It can get a little tense there in studio. Like I said last night, not going to get a more intense game than that, and just to kind of be a bystander for that was crazy. And you really see the communication that goes into the game and how seriously these guys do take it and how much they really do care.
There's that timeout I was looking for. It took another turnover, but we pointed out NetsGC only had one after that first quarter. They now have 4, and that last 3 have come on consecutive possessions, 2 in the PNR, and then Green's throwing that last one, that errant pass to the corner. So that's going to need to be cleaned up in order for NetsGC to kind of stay undefeated. But, JJ, this Hawks Talon GC team, yes, they didn't pass, or they didn't get very far in the tip-off. And yes, they are 0-2 here early in the turn. But they've played well. They've certainly played better than they did in the tip-off. They lost by 2 points in their opening game against Hornets of NMGT. And then against a very good Knicks gaming team, who we'll see next week and who is currently tied with us in first, they only lost by 4 points. So at most, they've been in very close games, losing it by 1 or 2 possessions. So they're fighting.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you lose games by single points. Kurt talks about it all the time, to where when you're losing games like that, you're beating yourself. So they have the talent to do it as long as they don't beat themselves. Maybe you get a few breaks here and there. So this is certainly not a bad team at all. But, NetsGC is kind of beating themselves right now.
They didn't make us pay for it in that last turnover, but a 4th consecutive turnover. And suddenly we are now in a 3-point deficit, or dealing with a 3-point deficit. Greens has daylight. He hesitated for a second, but there was no one in sight, so he could afford it.
He was kind of surprised by how open he was. I think you saw him pull up, and he's like, am I really this open?
Yeah, 29-29. Looks like we're in for another good one. Steez gets called for the foul, and we've been seeing a lot more of that this year from all teams and in all matchups. The ref bailing out the player at the basket on dribble drives. Definitely more so in comparison to last year's league build. But nonetheless, ATL will take their 2 at the free throw line. These, I believe I've said this to you before, and I definitely kind of echoed it last night. Like, I'm a big fan of closing out the second quarter and carrying momentum into halftime and into the second half. So regardless of what's happened here so far, if we can win these 2 minutes, we'll be in a better place mentally.
Absolutely agreed. Yeah, you gotta find the adjustment before the second half comes. You gotta make it live in the game. Just, if Greens is just gonna get all the threes in the world tonight, then that's what it's gonna be, and he can certainly knock them down with the best of them.
You got to tip your hat there. That's a contest. We got a contest on that. They greened it. 34-32. Greens has been feeling it, shooting 80% from the field. He's almost got 20. Just 2 away now. Goes opposite hash to Glenn. I like that the guys are able to do this now. Like, early on in the tip-off, JJ, like, it was, if Greens is not going, we might be in for a long night. And now, even when Greens is going, the ability to go to Glenn there off ball in late clock to get us a basket, it's huge.
And they're just playing with a lot more fluidity and a lot more freedom. You saw a lot in the tip-off where it was just kind of structured, and they they were kind of like robots out there. It seems like it's a lot more free flowing now, just a lot more freedom and a lot more communication and trust in each other.
It's okay. I'd foul. Yep.
Don't want to give the Hawks Talon was teeing that up for a three.
They're trying to bait that pass or that drive. I like that foul out of the guys. That's a little too easy, but I mean, we are still here in the game. Couldn't ask for more. Final 47 seconds of the first half. Again, thank you guys to everyone for tuning in. This one will be another good one. Nice.
Yep. There it is. If they're going to play that aggressive and they're going to try to jump those passing lanes, you fake a pass to make a pass. It's kind of the same. It's real basketball. You fake a pass to make a pass, whether it's virtual or in real life.
I love it. I love it. You could almost kind of be like in Glenn's head during those, during that 1.5 seconds where he's like going through the reads and he sees the exact same jump and coverage from Hawks Talon and he just goes opposite corner. He knows that corner defender is going to jump that lane, right? So it'll be fun to see we're starting to nerd out here a little bit, but it'll be fun to see like the chess moves that both Hawks Talon does and NetsGC does to counter that, because they're not, Hawks Talon is just not gonna keep doing that. So we'll see how the adjustments kind of evolve in real time.
Yeah, those live in-game adjustments are what separates the good teams from the great teams. And so seeing what the defense is doing time and time again, and it caused turnovers time and time again, but you finally make that adjustment. You finally just slow down, take a second, you make the read, and that's where good offense comes from.
38-36, Hawks Talon. NetsGC now on the main broadcast, but with time winding down, we'll keep it here in the command center. If they do keep it on the main broadcast, we'll lock in for the third quarter. But let's see what Hawks Talon drew up in their team huddle. They go quick there. Just take whatever the defense gives them. And so that sets the stage here for NetsGC to go for the final shot of the half. No corner movement there. No corner movement there. You could almost see Brooklyn kind of just seeing what would happen on the slip, how ATL would react to it. And literally, that right corner defender just stayed stuck to shots hit. 40-38. Not the greatest second quarter, but we did enough to maintain our lead. JJ, even with just the box score here, just give us some of your thoughts, what you liked, what you're interested in seeing in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, your eyes first go to the 6 turnovers for each team, and that's where this game is going to be won in the second half, is who's going to make the least amount of mistakes and who is going to take care of the ball the most. We've seen that when NetsGC is at their best this year. I mean, they're 9 of 11 from 3 right now. They're getting the open looks. The only reason Hawks Talon is still in this game is because NetsGC is kind of beating themselves at times and giving them those open looks where they can get out in transition, and that's where they're hurting you. In the half-court offense, NetsGC is playing excellent right now and kind of getting whatever they want when they take a deep breath, when they settle down, and when they just got to take what the defense is giving them every single possession.
I couldn't agree more. I think with this box score, the biggest thing that stands out to me, and you kind of touched on this, is, guys, chat, we've only missed 4 shots tonight, and we're only up 2. So those 6 turnovers that you already kind of, broke down for us, JJ, those are huge, right? Because those are turnovers where we're not getting shots up, and we're not putting to use our shot creation. And so I've always, Kurt knows I'm a big fan of a missed shot over no shot, because at least we're giving ourselves a chance. So that elite shooting kind of negating itself through the turnovers. I'm sure Kurt and the guys are gonna key in on that, because if we clean up the with coughing up the ball, I think we'll be good. But it's been an exciting back and forth match so far. Again, these two teams trying their best to recover from a disappointing showing in the tip-off. Time is running out. NetsGC, fortunately, guys, we're up 2-0. Atlanta trying to climb out of this hole. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to NetsGC Live, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, make sure that you enter our giveaway for a signed NetsGC shirt or a signed team photo. To enter, it's so simple. All you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, fire up Crew Access Chapter 4, like and comment, and you're automatically entered into the giveaway. You don't even have to watch it, really, but I'd recommend you do. It is a very good episode. It's our best one of the year, but that is the cheat code. That is the easiest way to enter the contest. We're going to be announcing a winner this weekend, so make sure you guys do that at some point tonight or sometime soon. So, JJ, I'm a big fan of standings. I like to make sure we're on the same page. So what we're going to do is we got 3 minutes left till the third quarter. I'm trying to figure out how I could probably include you in on this. Do you have the stream up on your end?
I do.
Yeah? Okay. So the standings should show up.
Mm-hmm.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
there we
okay,
go.
perfect. So you guys see it on the screen, top 4. Man, the tip-off was crazy because it all came down to the final day. We were jockeying between 5 and 4. Top 4 get in. Right now we're in a decent spot, up 2-0. I think the only other group teams that play tonight, I actually want to double-check this, is Philly and New York. Okay, so that's actually pretty big for us. So 76ers GC and Knicks Gaming will play each other at 8 o'clock tonight. That's going to have implications on our group race. We're right there, tied with NY. We've got the tiebreaker, the head-to-head tiebreaker over Celtics crossover. So that's huge, right? And then a win over ATL would be amazing too, JJ, because that would mean the two teams directly below us that would guarantee us a finish in the top 4 we have tiebreakers over. So tonight's game, huge implications.
Absolutely huge implications, and yeah, I mean, you have to take care of business here. You don't want to put the must-win tag on a game too soon, but it certainly could be qualified as a must-win because you win this game, it puts you in excellent position going forward and where you're trying to go. You've got to keep on racking up points, and at the end of the day, it's all about putting yourself in a position to get into the playoffs. And this is the first step in doing that, is taking care of business in group standings and putting yourself in a position to win as much as possible.
For sure. And I know Kurt, he's a very much just let's just win every game kind of a guy and let the chips fall where they may. But you hit the nail on the head there. It's just really a matter of accumulating as many points as possible for a playoff position, especially considering we left so many points on the table during the tip-off. Just kind of going back to this box score, I got to see that NY versus BK in person. Yes, we're definitely going to talk a little bit more about that. That's going to be amazing, a historic moment in both organizations' history. And a really cool initiative that the league is pushing. But we'll go into that a little bit more. This is actually, JJ, the very first time we've run into a 5v5 opponent that runs 5 out. So the meta in the 2K League, for the longest time, at least since Season 1 really, teams will run heavy pick and roll for their offense. You're starting to see a few teams experiment with a center that can shoot and play more of that open space concept 5-out type of basketball that you'll see some NBA teams do now a lot. What are your thoughts on that, and what are some of the challenges when dealing with a center that can slip a little bit but also shoot from outside?
I think it's really an adapt or die thing, to where if you have the personnel to do it, then absolutely do it. But I think it also kind of, if you don't have the personnel to do it, we've seen a lot more teams struggle with it than a lot more teams thrive with it. So I think as the kind of season goes on, we'll kind of see that evolution, and we'll see more teams try it, and maybe more teams have success with it. But I feel like the way that 2K is played, being able to kind of, sink guys down I really don't see the 5-out being a sustainable model unless, those centers kind of adjust and, the builds change. But I think with the build as it currently is, I really don't see where a team that plays 5-out can have sustained success.
Yeah, you see, I think the team that has been the most successful when it comes to 5-out, and certainly more teams are experimenting with it now in the turn, but was T-Wolves Gaming, and they went to the finals against a pick-and-roll team in 76ers GC. We all know now 76ers GC and their style of PNR won out. So I'm with you there. It's going to be interesting to see how it evolves and what teams end up doing with it. I don't know if it's just 5-out, but I, for one, at least down the road, would like to kind of see not necessarily variety, but like teams have their own distinct personalities offensively and defensively. I think that'll help with the viewership side of things.
Absolutely, yeah. I think kind of not having these cookie cutter schemes to where you can really experiment and, see what works best for you and your personnel and your team. But I will say, I do think the ceiling of 5-out is higher than the ceiling of pick and roll.
Just got to figure it out.
The floor is just, it's so dramatic. Like, a bad 5v5 will get smoked by a bad pick and roll every day of the week.
I'm with you. 49-44. Chat, again, thanks for tuning in. It's been a really competitive game. A lot more competitive games across the board, actually, here in the turn, which shouldn't be a surprise. That's how a typical 2K League season goes, and we get burned for jumping there. Teams get more comfortable with the league build, get more familiar with what the meta is and what seems to work and what doesn't. And it's also another reason why you're seeing some of these higher scores as well. Good fake. Steve's a little bit quieter tonight, but you can almost kind of just easily predict he's going to be called upon here to close out the game.
Yeah, it looks like Hawks kind of letting Nets do whatever they want inside. So if, keep on hammering the paint, take what the offense is giving to you. And if that's rim runs, then take those rim runs.
Oh, we got caught. Okay, we got lucky. Chad, I'll take that. I'm honestly good with that. Like when Streets got fouled for 3 in the left corner last night, JJ. I didn't care. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We've had our hearts broken far too often this year, chat, to not take those bailout fouls. 53-47. Chat, I'm getting a little antsy. I know I should calm down, but it just feels like one of those games where the first team to go on a big run here is going to be in the driver's seat. What a block by Steve.
Great block. And a little team takeover.
Let's see if we can take advantage of this.
Yep. Here we go. Here's the run.
Yep.
Here's the run.
And we teed up Steez. He was quiet. Just made his presence felt there on consecutive possessions. Again, there it is. Finish. Here we go. Timeout, ATL.
Ooh, yep.
There it is.
Yep.
That's that run we were looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but
That's some basketball right there.
Yeah, no. Forcing turnovers and converting them. I think that second part just as important. Not getting stuck in the half court after a steal and converting, at least coming away with 2. Chris, don't speak what you think. That's fair. I tried to even it out, Mama Greens, where I threw out the negative energy, but then I was like, okay, here's the positive energy. I'll follow it up with that. One team needs to go on a run, and fortunately, the guys pulled off that run. And we talk about Steve's gonna make an impact, and he does so seconds later. So it's very important for me to suppress my own negativity. I trust me, I understand. I'm a work in progress as well.
Emotional hedging. You don't want to get hurt.
That is so good. It's emotional hedging. It is literally sitting on the fence. emotionally. 57. I was going to ask, does spamming the defensive setting do anything in the gameplay besides reminding players? Yeah, it's just a habit thing. The players don't need to do it. It's just players being fidgety. I do it too when I play 2K, and when I play other games, I have my own little weird habits where if I'm not pressing any buttons, it feels weird. So that's exactly, it's annoying from a viewership perspective, because it does nothing, to answer your question. That last time Greens did it was to fix the setting, because sometimes the setting will, for some reason, default, but when they're spamming it, it's just because. (57-51). It feels like this team takeover has been with us forever.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Glenn again, calling his own number.
Yep. When both guards are aggressive, man, it's NetsGC look really, really good.
It's that 1-2 punch that they've been looking for really all last season, and now they really have it this year.
James Myers from a little bit earlier. Glenn's former experience as a PG shows with his passes at times today and yesterday. I am with you on that. His dot to shots late in the shot clock last night was one of my favorite passes of the year from any team.
I think it was the assist of the night on the 2K broadcast.
Was it?
We were watching it after the game. I think that was the assist of the night. It wasn't Greens' lob, which he was rather upset about. But it was the dot late in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, because it fooled me. Like, I thought he was either going to drive to the rim or throw the slip to Steez, but because there was time was just winding down, right? So and he has that awareness to throw that dot to the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And MDS finishes the quarter with a bang, and that's actually something, a storyline and a narrative that we haven't touched on. This is the second matchup between the top two picks in this past year's NBA 2K League draft. They both represent the future of this league, and it's two players that have been highly touted, regarded, scouted for the last few years, with the 2K League essentially still being a startup, right? It's only its 6th year in existence. Its format constantly evolving to see what best works. This is really the first time where, like in the real NBA, we have now enough years to be like, okay, no, we've been actually looking at this kid for the last few years until he's draft eligible. And Greens, as soon as the 2K League Season 1 started, or Season 2, he's been following it. It caught his interest, and he was able to kind of go through that pipeline of development and amateur leagues. So it's fun to kind of see those young players that were inspired by Season 1 now play in the league and represent the future. It's just like a little sign of things to come and what this league could be.
Yeah, and speaking of Greens development, you can read all about that and more on Greens on the NetsGC website. So definitely give that a look if you have a chance. I had the chance to sit down with Greens and his teammates. So if you want to learn more about the kid and the player behind the screen, definitely give that a read.
Definitely give it a read. Our man JJ, doing NetsGC by night, writing articles for us by day. A man of many talents, and Greens, obviously, the perfect person to speak to. Such a fascinating journey to the league, such a wonderful support system, and so we were able to kind of take a peek into a few more details and get to know the man a little bit better, the young man a little bit better. But 61-55, NetsGC up now. Let's even close out the quarter. One thing I saw in the box score was Greens has 20, right? And he's 8 of 9. He had 18 to end But yeah, 18 and a half, I think. And so it's not like he's missing shots. He's still 8 of 9, but Hawks Talon GC making a concentrated effort to take the ball out of his hands.
I mean, we saw that on Wednesday night too, to where he had 20 in the first half, 22 in the first half, and then he only had 30 for the game. That sounds crazy to say, and there's shot hunting right there, but just off.
You know what's a tease? That the 2K the game just gave us the green animation for Glenn. You know, you saw him hopping after he did the shot, so I was like, oh, that's a green. But it doesn't go down. 61-59. Chris, to answer your question, no, MDS did not play threes. He played one game at power forward, I believe, but he wasn't able to showcase his guard skills. And it's time to lock in. 62-61, JJ. Here we go.
Yep. Yeah, not the start to the fourth quarter that you wanted, but here we are. There it is.
Take that too. I thought Glenn was going to let that one fly, but points are points. Okay, Glenn got the jump just in time.
Great defense.
I didn't know what kind of contest the game was going to give him on that, but the 12 was enough to speed up his shot. Okay.
Work that pick and roll.
Steez was quiet early. Definitely a presence now. And really, execution is the name of the game here. Both teams now. I don't want to say they're turtling up, but both teams are basically saying, if you want the 2, go ahead and take the 2.
Yep. Yeah, if I had $1 for every time I heard no threes last night, I would not be on this stream right now. I would be on my way to my own private island.
Yeah, no threes. You know that they're spamming that in the comms right now. No home run ball. This defense. Oh, Glenn.
That's
No
Glenn.
threes.
That's Glenn. That's Glenn.
It's not like he hesitated. It was a bad catch animation, which I could rant on about for a long time, but we'll take it. And Glenn, oh no. Oh. This is a game, JJ.
This is a shootout. This is an offensive showcase here. This not really one for the defensive tape, but certainly one for offense. Now Hawks Talon with the team takeover.
Yeah, that's a little scary, not gonna lie. Go ahead, Glenn. Ooh, I would have taken midi. It's okay, we're playing with the lead, chat. Here we go.
Yeah.
Team takeover is a little intimidating, but not impossible to deal with. Don't jump. Good. Ooh, that's a good move. Okay, we get lucky. He missed with badge. We need points.
There's the slip, and there's the points.
Here we go. No, we get caught there. We're gonna have to break. Yep. Glenn
Good foul. Good foul.
I
They had a
get
foul
it.
to give.
Yeah, I like the pressure Glenn showed there. It's a risk reward kind of thing.
And that's definitely communicated before. Oh, what a block! What a block!
There's that one stop fail.
That's a block where you love when it goes for you, and if it goes against you, you are throwing your controller.
I'm rattled. That's good defense.
Excellent defense.
I think we baited that.
Baited. Absolutely, yeah.
We showed that like a free safety. Yeah, screens.
Dagger.
Call timeout, Hawks.
Yep.
No? Okay. We ride. 75-67. Chat, this is looking good so far. We need another stop here. No threes, exactly.
Going on a 7-0 run after they showed team takeover.
That's huge.
That's high level 2K.
That is the storyline of the night for sure. I love that you pointed that out. Well, timeout. Okay.
Whoa.
You know they're
a little
spamming.
backcourt violation.
You know they were spamming timeout as soon as I saw that animation.
Goodness. Yeah, I mean, that's one that I've done plenty of times because I am awful at 2K. Yeah, that certainly happened to me a couple times.
Chat, this has been just as exciting as last night's game. ATL was up 1 at one point. They show the team takeover, and somehow, some way, we're able to string together enough stops and buckets to give us a 2-possession lead here. Greens with 23 now. Glenn now 2 points away from having consecutive 20-point games. Shots was hitting, big threes early on, and then Steve's just coming alive on both sides. So we are not out of the woods by any means. And this next possession to get a stop here would be huge. But we're in a good spot. We threw a good counter punch there after getting hit. Oh no, we have the ball. It's even better.
Oh, yeah.
JJ.
Oh, you didn't know we had the ball?
I totally forgot we called a timeout because we almost backcourted. So
yeah.
I'm feeling even better.
Oh. Agreed.
No threes?
0 threes.
Look at that. Steve's just being a little annoying on that right side. Oh, where did Gradient come from? Oh, that's good. We still got a test. I love it.
Walk the ball up, and now the clock is your friend.
He's getting Boston flashbacks for a second.
Oh.
I think Steve's was expecting the midi there.
Mm-hmm.
Then Greens walked it back. But hey, at least we prevent transition, and maybe that's why they
And you get the steal.
to drop the street steal. Oh, Glenn.
Oh, he was trying to put an exclamation on that 20-piece.
That's the second night in a row he's jacked one up from near half court. God, there was 16 seconds left on the shot clock.
I love the confidence. Do it again. Why not?
I think he might, JJ.
Oh, he definitely is. Step back, Bobby Jack. Oh.
Look at Steve's go.
Oh, what an animal. Yep. Warm up the buses. We'll take the 3-0 group play week.
Steve's,
What a bounce back.
Yeah. Glenn getting in the lanes. Almost gets the steal. You burn a foul to give. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that we'd be saying Steve's offensive board, kick out the shots for 3. But it has happened quite often.
Now, I think that one he got dragged in because it only counted as 2. So that's one definitely shots would have won it back in a tighter game. But a win is a win.
A win is certainly a win, especially when it happens 3 straight times in 1 week. Chat, we just got to witness the team's first perfect week of the year, at least in 5v5. That's a 3-0 start to NetsGC's journey through the turn. Man, I mean, we'll get a post-game on going. I'm actually going to reach out to Kurt now, see if we can get him on just to kind of break down the game. But, I mean, tons of things to talk about. ATL, again, 3rd straight game. I know they're 0-3 and they're not really in the business of getting moral victories, but they showed a lot. And I like the fact that for us, not only have we won 3 straight games, outside of the Boston one, we've also won games where they've been very close and they've tested our resiliency. They've tested our ability to execute and communicate in close games because that's what you're going to need to do if you want to win a championship here in the turn.
Yeah, it feels like they've kind of won all 3 games in 3 kind of different ways. I mean, like the fundamentals are the same, but those were 3 very different wins. I mean, tonight was just an offensive firepower. Last night was clutch plays and getting those defensive stops. And then Wednesday was just kind of an all-around game where they just played a complete game. So to see them kind of win in all those different ways and to be able to kind of be a chameleon and to adapt to the opponent that they're playing, it's a really positive, and it shows how good this team can be moving forward.
So I just sent a link, or I reached out to Kurt, so we'll see if we can get him on for the post-game show. Again, if you guys have any questions for Kurt, for if he does get on the stream, please leave them in the chat. But a big win for NetsGC, and that's going to actually, these standings are now outdated, but NetsGC now 3-0. Knicks Gaming, they're going to be playing 76ers GC. Their tip-off is slated for roughly 10 minutes or so. That's going to be a big one. And JJ, like, we didn't really get a chance. We touched on it. We didn't get a chance to truly dive into the importance of next week's game. But if Knicks Gaming does win tonight against Philly, they will be 3-0 as well. And from an excitement point of view, from a viewership point of view, and based off, who we're hearing is going to be attending the game, it's going to be a packed house. You couldn't really ask for a better experience, right? The battle for the throne of New York between 2 New York esports teams in the 2K League that are both undefeated. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a rivalry that we could, like you said before, the 2K League is very young, so you haven't really had time for those rivalries between teams to develop. This is kind of the start of that, between like the battle of the city. Like who's going to take the city? It's the virtual city is not big enough for both Knicks and Nets, so we'll have to see. But NetsGC on top. You know who we're riding with.
NetsGC on top. I've said that quite a few times this year, but never have we sat at the top of the table, at the top of the standings like this. So it's nice for it to kind of go hand in hand here. Drop the meme, right? Jen, it's time for everybody to get with the winning team. Truly and properly. Mama Greens, DC needs to see the NetsGC fan base. We're not playing. No, we certainly aren't. And again, that's my dream. NetsGC live, to truly be live, and for all of us to be watching a game together. I think that would give the guys a needed boost, and it'd be a legendary moment for the league. So, Kurt is now in the lobby. I'm gonna pull him on stream here. Give me a second. Bear with me. Okay. Let's actually change it up a bit. Kurt, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Good evening, Kurt. 3-0. Must feel nice. How are you doing on this Friday night?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, that obviously was the goal, is to go 3-0. I mean, of course, we always have to make it interesting for you guys. Came out, gave up some early threes, gave up too many threes overall for the game, but had a few spurts in us where we went up double figures probably 2 or 3 times and let them back in the game. And that was one of the things that I had told them coming out in the second half, was like, we can't keep letting them back in the game, because 2K will start, they'll stop rocking with us. So they stayed keyed in, though. I mean, another good performance. It was just total team effort, for real. Like, I mean, we had some mishaps and turnovers and that was allowing them to stay in the game. But overall, it's just beautiful energy in here right now. Like, I think I had talked to JP. For a lot of people who don't know, JP, he's he oversees NetsGC, Joshua Prush, and I was telling him this, the energy in the room, like like, do we make it interesting? Of course, but it's winning, and it's a winning environment. Like, I mean, they constantly talking, nobody's getting down, they pushing each other, saying the necessary things that need to be said, no matter how it's getting said, and that's what I like overall. So I'm definitely satisfied that everybody sprinted and got out of here. We'll be practicing over the weekend, getting ready for Monday.
No, for sure. And I know we've joked about things always being interesting when we watch NetsGC play. And again, from a viewership perspective, I mean, the league might as well just put us on the main broadcast every night if we're going to be producing these kind of classics. But, Kurt, ideally you want to win every game, and ideally you want to flood every team, but it's not always going to happen. Hawks Talon GC, we touched on this in the broadcast. They had lost their opening game by 2 points. They lost to Knicks Gaming, a really good Knicks Gaming team, by just 4 points last night. And then tonight, a narrow defeat to you and your squad. I know you guys ultimately won by 8, but they were up by 1 in the middle of that fourth quarter, just before getting team takeover. Just talk to us about how important it is for you, but also for the guys to see that they can win close games and execute in close games.
Yeah, that's something that even before we did the lineup change, that was kind of hindering us a little bit about. It was getting leads, maintaining leads, and then closing out games. And that had been kind of our big flaws that kind of led us to, where we didn't make bracket play. So that's something that we really been focused on. Steve's and he's been a catalyst about that, about us getting leads, keeping them, and then closing out games. But not only closing out games, but closing out quarters, quarter by quarter. And I think it's just all coming together. I mean, hats off to the Hawks Talon GC. I did manage to catch a little bit of the Knicks game last night. And the thing about it in this league, like, of course, in fandom, everybody will say, like, this team is horrible or this team is bad. I just say it's teams that's not yet put it together. But these rosters have talent. And if you don't come ready to play, you're going to get challenged, or you're going to find yourself on the other side of the win column. So, I mean, it's one of those things that I think for us, we was kind of a favorite in 5v5, and people are going to, nobody's going to fall asleep for us. Like, everybody's going to be up for when they play us, no matter where they're at in the standings. So that's something that we have to be accustomed to, and just continue to build and still getting that chemistry. I mean, Steve's and shots, that position change has been vital for us.
Mm-hmm.
His shots is still, finding his way. I mean, it's been a while. It's one thing to succeed on the offensive end, but on defense, it's been a while since he's been in that position. So, like I said last night, just hats off to the Streets, mainly Streets. Like, Streets has been super vocal this year, and that's one of the things that I challenged him last year, because he knows the game. Like, from a small forward position, he knows the game. And I told him a lot of times he was reluctant to say things, but this year he's been ultra vocal. He's been coaching shots up. Glenn has been coaching them up there. I mean, I just think that trio has really been coming together at the right time. And we heading into the weekend exactly where we wanted to be. And like I told him, I believe in these guys 1,000%. If we are on the same page and we're coming out ready to compete, constantly communicating and being ready to take and make shots and get stops. I mean, this is what NetsGC basketball looks like.
Yeah, Jen, the guys clocked in, did their job, clocked out. It's a weekend ahead. It's always a good weekend when you're undefeated. JJ, what do you got for us?
A couple questions for you, Kurt. First question, you guys went on that big run in the fourth quarter. What did you see was kind of the key to that run? Because the Hawks had team takeover. It didn't look great, but then you guys went on that 7-0 run. What was the key to that run and kind of closing out the game?
We kind of went to they really communicated more on how they were going to defend them when they went 5 out. They was kind of mixing it up a little bit. C's, he was working sometimes he was working on the wing, sometimes he was working in the middle. So it was just more about who was taking what cut and how the rotations were going to be. And once they got that down, it was kind of we got stop after stop and got out in transition. I mean, hats off to Glenn. I think he played phenomenal on ball defense when they went 5 out, and then he got out in transition, knocked down a 3 at one time, had a good take going to the basket, and that's pretty much his game. I think I told him, last night, as long as you continue to defend and let the game come to you on the offensive end, it really is a game changer for us. And if you look at the stat sheets, you'll look at Green's numbers, and still I want him to get those turnovers down. But he's still putting up phenomenal numbers, but getting those turnovers down. So within that run, once we got the rotations down, made a few stops, got out in transition, and then on the other end, Sean is screaming that if we give up a 3, I'm gonna lose my mind. Do not give up a 3. And we didn't. And they just persevered through every situation, and that's what allowed us to come out with the win.
And you kind of mentioned it before, Hawks Talon does play that 5-out style of offense. What kind of unique challenges did that pose, and how did you guys adjust throughout the game?
I mean, the thing about it is, Cease is one of the premier ISO guards in our league. And then you have somebody like MDS, as a knockdown shooter, definitely a bona fide scorer when he touches the ball. I think this probably was one of his better games that he played offensively since he's been in the league. And, that's really the biggest threat when you talk about 5 out, is having 2 guards that can really knock down shots, create shots, and then, make passes when they need to be made. Fortunately for us, most of our game plan was to defend them. But if we had to make anybody shoot, we wanted it to be Dewan or Hot Shot. And that's pretty much our game plan. And fortunately for us, sometimes we didn't have to do that because we forced them into missing some shots and getting, I think Greens had got a few steals out the corner, off cut, guarding the cuts and everything like that. So it definitely, it was beautiful to see. The guys are really electric. I've been in here in times where I've had teams where we played well and you don't hear a lot of communication, and then some teams we playing really well, but the energy is coming from everybody. It's coming from everywhere, and that's what it was tonight. That's what it was last night. It's even been like that, and sometimes in defeat. Like I said last night in the spaces, in the speakeasy, is that everybody in here is self-aware. They really are self-aware, and I think that's been the key. The key for us is having 5 guys that's self-aware and really know how to shift the blame when it needs to go in the proper place. And I think we've been pretty good at that. And 3-0, man. Arguably putting ourselves in contention for bracket play already. I probably couldn't be more happy and proud of the guys. Like I said, going into this weekend.
I'd say 2 more questions from me.
Oh no, I got a guess.
You got a guess? Okay.
I got a guess for you.
What is that?
Casey.
Look, you gotta put it.
I gotta put it up here.
Oh, get with the winning team. Jen's gonna love that.
Yeah, that's for Jen.
I love it. I think that might be the first cameo on NetsGC Live, Kurt.
It actually is. She just touched down right before the game. So
that's awesome. We're gonna need to clip that. Yeah, just 2 more questions from me. I definitely want to get this one in for sure because we've shown a lot of love to Greens, Glenn, and of course Shots and Steves for making their very important positional change or trade-off, if you will. But Streets, he's been tasked with he's slightly adjusted his role as well. Offensively, the usage isn't as high as it was before. It's kind of shifted responsibilities a little bit towards Glenn, a little bit more towards shots from the corner. But Streets has been just as vital, has played just as crucial of a role. And I think, we've made a lot about how impressive it was for Shots and Steez to learn a new position. But despite Street still playing lock, he's also having to build new chemistry in the PNR with Shots in the middle of a season. Talk to us a little bit about how. I know he's technically he's a sophomore, but he's an older sophomore here, and he's a mature sophomore. But talk to us about how he's taken on that challenge and what you've seen from him this week.
Man, I really could talk all day about Streets, man. Like he really made me a believer in locks because if anybody knows me since the league has been in existence, is that I was never a big fan of lockdown defenders, never. And when I got him, I learned the appreciation of why everybody likes lockdown defenders. Like, I mean, his on-ball skills is great. His off-ball skills is great. The how he coaches everybody to be in position is phenomenal. He knows his opponents. Like, he knows what they like to do, what they're trying to do. I challenged him in the offseason, like I said, to be more vocal, but then also to be more offensive-minded. And he's done that in both modes. 3v3, he was phenomenal. Defense is normal. Offense he picked that up, and ultimately we got to where we got in 3v3. And 5v5, like you said, in working, him and Steez are like, they're like blood brothers. Like, they're roommates. They constantly communicate, talk about the game plan and everything like that. Now you're talking about a shift where it's him and Shots on the PNR from time to time, depending on who we're playing. And, Shots is going through a Streets one-on-one crash course. Like, I mean, in saying that, it's making Sean a better communicator, because that's one thing about him. Like, I want him to keep strengthening his communication skills. And when I say that, it's like he has to constantly keep saying stuff to Shots. Not that Shots doesn't know, but it's kind of like getting them into rhythm and building that chemistry. And I think it's pushing them both to be better on that end of the court. And I know the type of player Shots is. Like, he hates when he doesn't play well, or when his plays that he should make that he don't make. And the challenge with him is just trying to keep him from beating himself up and stuff like that. And the one thing about Streets, like, he's gonna get on you when you're messing up, but he's definitely gonna pick you up when you're making plays. And I'm so thankful for him. I mean, it's changed how my defense has looked in 5v5 and over the last 2 to 3 seasons. Because even in one of our better seasons where we went to the Eastern Conference Finals, we were top 5 in offense, but we definitely was in the bottom probably 5 in defense. And so now learning how to appreciate what a guy like him brings to the defensive end is just like I said, I can talk about him for days. He's just solid all the way around. He's taking greens under his wing. They become big brother, little brother. And even with that, like, you see Greens making a lot of defensive plays. And when I tell you, Street stays on his ass. Like, he stays on him big time. Like, so it's just been great to watch. And like I said, it's only going to get better. I know Shots watches a ton of film after each and every game, because he's trying to, make sure he gets better and stay sharp in his new role. But like I said, Streets has been great for NetsGC. I made the appreciation post about Steez last night, but I can do the same for Streets. I mean, they've been valuable. Pretty good for some 40 picks. I mean, I'll tell you, like, I want to say 41 and 49 a couple of years ago, and they've truly changed the culture in NetsGC just in over a season. I mean, and now I think tonight kind of pushed us within the top 5 in the Eastern Conference. At this point, we'll see how the rest of everything else plays out. But I'm definitely ecstatic about going into Monday undefeated. We'll see what happens between the Knicks and Sixers tonight, and get ready for our live in-person game on Monday.
JJ, any final questions for Kurt?
No, but I can certainly attest to Streets staying on greens for the defense. Even before the game, before 76ers yesterday, he was on them, talking about how he's going to cover cuts and everything, and how He doesn't really play defense like that, so he's constantly challenging and constantly pushing his teammates to do better. So, yeah, I've seen it firsthand.
Final one from me, Kurt, and we'll clip it as well for promo this weekend, but you touched on the fact that we will be playing Knicks Gaming live from OS Studios, tip-off slated for 8 p.m. It is, people who are in the area, Kurt, why should they attend this game if they are able to?
One of the things I was talking about, and I actually mentioned this to Glenn yesterday when we was talking about it, is that these are two gritty New York teams. We're balanced when you start talking about the energy of each player. When you look at Greens and Radiant, they're kind of the same temperament, awesome skill sets. When you look at the shooting guards, you got Glenn that's loud, abrasive, and you got Malik that's loud and a talker and aggressive. Then you got Stick and you got Streets who gonna be loud and aggressive, and they good friends, but definitely love to compete against each other. And then you got Shots and Birch who are mild mannered, don't really say a whole lot, and then you got Steez and Type. So when you think about the energy and how it's gonna be, it's definitely gonna be one for the ages. I think both teams are ready to put on for New York. Both of us are competitive in this mode, and definitely we plan to. This probably won't be the first time. This won't be the last time that we see each other. So I think if you got a chance, Monday, doors open at 7 p.m. at OS Studios and 50 Bowery, right there in Manhattan. I suggest you come check it out. I think it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be loud. It's going to be a lot of trash talking. And definitely, I think it's going to be something good for New York City.
Man, if Knicks Gaming can pull off a victory tonight, the Stars have truly aligned themselves for something special. 3-0, both in the same group, both tied for first place. Doesn't really get much better than that, especially with the loaded lineups on both sides. JJ, Kurt, take us home. Any final thoughts, comments for everyone in the chat, for anyone who's tuning in after the fact here on NetsGC Live?
Yeah, undefeated week. You go undefeated every single week, and you're going to be in a really good spot. So yeah, gotta keep it up and keep on playing that NetsGC basketball.
Yeah, and for me, I mean the same as usual. I thank everybody that's in the chat. I think I see Chris John in the chat, Mama Greens, of course, Jen. My brother was in the chat. Oh, that's OG King Curse, bro. He was in the chat. Shout out to my Uncle Phil who watches every game. Texts me after every game. He's been like a father figure to me. And of course, thanks to Lady LG for coming in and checking out the game live. And she's been supporting SGC the entire time. So it's just as she came in here and kicked it with the guys and talked trash. She actually asked for a jersey, but I told her we was trying to go 3-0, so she couldn't play this week. But no, just thanks for everybody that's been supporting. Like I said, these guys are going to continue to keep fighting. We're going to get better. We're going to improve and land exactly where we want to be at the end of the day.
Yeah, Jen definitely saw it that time. Get with the winning team. A classic gif, classic meme, but it hits a little bit differently when you're 3-0 headed into the weekend. So congrats to the guys. Congrats to you, Kurt. JJ, again, thanks for man, JJ, your record on SGC Live it's different. It's built different.
I'll be here Monday.
Oh, perfect. But yeah, no, great week for us. Bounce back, much deserved bounce back week, especially with what happened in the tip-off. You guys already know what it is. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for your support, night in, night out. NetsGC is very much a roller coaster of a ride this year, but you guys have been our rock, been our anchor, and you've consistently been there regardless of the result. So thank you. We so greatly appreciate it. Let's roll into the weekend having a good time. Let's be safe. Let's enjoy each other's company, and then let's lock and load for Monday again, 8 p.m. Live from OS Studios, NetsGC versus Knicks Gaming. To see who the king of New York is, at least mid-season. Doors open 7, I believe, Kurt, is what you had said.
Correct.
So let's definitely attend if you can't. If you're in the area, please try to. If you are unable to or you're not in the area, you know where to find us. NetsGC Live on Twitch and YouTube. On behalf of Kurt, JJ, and everyone over at the NetsGC organization, have a good one. And for real this time, NetsGC on top.
OG out.
Chris, can you hear me?